So you want to be a drummer or have interest in drums? Let's jump right in. The precursor to learning is to have a clear understanding of your long-term goals. Other than those who are here out of curiosity or boredom, I'll assume most have an earnest desire to learn. Maybe your goal is to become proficient enough to jam with some friends and maybe score some low-paying local gigs. Perhaps you want to take it a step further and develop into a proficient drummer, able to play with other polished musicians with consistent gigs. Do you want to become a studio musician with concise in-the-pocket grooves and one-take recordings? Or maybe you have the patience and discipline to take your drumming to the highest level possible. I personally believe any of these goals are achievable. Learning and performing drums can be an exceptionally rewarding experience on many different levels. Personally, I also play guitar and keyboards, yet I prefer playing drums. There's always something new to learn. It's a good physical workout if you want it to be. It's the backbone to any groove, be it soft or hard. You can be highly creative and people just really dig drums. No matter what your drumming goal is, you have to develop some basic skills regarding technique and rudiments. Yes, you can just forge ahead and thrash along and maybe even trick your family and friends into believing you're great. But if you do not have the basic foundation of technique and rudiments, that's about as far as you can take it before crashing into a wall. Don't be this guy. So if you don't want to flail and hack your way around the kit, there are 4 primary elements of successful drumming skills you need to develop. 1. Placement. This includes body posture, drum positioning, stick balance, and strike zone. 2. Timing. A drummer is first and foremost the beat clock that holds everyone together. 3. Rudiments. This includes fundamentals such as rolls, flams, paradiddles, and fills. 4. Limb independence. This will be, for most absolute beginners, the most difficult part to develop, and that's okay. And what I mean by limb independence is the ability to strike the drums with your hands and feet at different beats. This will require literally retraining your brain how it sends signals to your limbs. It's kind of like if you've tried patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time. For some, it naturally comes quickly, and for others, it takes a long time to develop. So let's begin with placement. First, body posture. Basically, you want to get into a position that's sustainable, comfortable, and safe. You don't want to become tired unnecessarily, develop bad habits leading to injury, or end up a hunchback. So be sure your legs are slightly below a 45-degree angle, your posture is always straight, and you feel comfortable and relaxed. Equally important and synergized to your body posture placement is your drum placement. You cannot have good body posture if you have to reach for your drums. So start with your snare drum position so the top is at or very slightly below your belly button, and then place and space your drums so that you are effortlessly attaining a strike at equal distances as much as possible. So before moving on, I suggest you pause or return to this section and take all day if necessary to ensure that your body and drum placement are in the correct positions. It will help you avoid a ton of problems down the road. Now that you have mastered body and drum placement, let's move on to stick balance. The trick here is to grasp the idea of not grasping. What I mean is, your natural tendency is to grasp the stick, and this is critical to avoid and get right as a cornerstone to build a foundation of great skill sets. Get into the habit of picking up your sticks with your thumb and index finger, and then immediately identifying the fulcrum point. That is to say, where exactly your thumb and index finger gently hold the stick along its length to attain maximum pivot balance. Again, these seemingly simple foundational elements are going to make a critical difference in your skill development later on, so take them seriously. Yes, I know many of us would like just to bang out beats and fills, and hey, it is important to mix in a fair share of fun along with learning, but be sure it's at least a 50-50 time allotment. Now, along with fulcrum or pivot balance is wrist movement, another critical foundational element. I want you to, while holding the stick loosely, to move your wrist up and down without moving your arm. Do this for an entire week if necessary. Just take a pair of sticks wherever you go, watching a movie or whatever. Hold your arm stationary with your other hand if necessary. It's important to both build up wrist strength and avoid the tendency to use excessive arm motion. Also, concentrate on being able to pivot the stick as relaxed and loosely as possible without the stick sliding. In fact, for the first couple weeks, maybe let them slide a little bit to get used to the feeling of how much thumb index finger pressure to use. Next, strike zone. This is where you should be striking the drums ideally for optimal performance and skill development, which is almost always in the center of the drum. The exception being the snare drum for different tones and dynamics, which we will cover later down the road. So as you strike the drums, focus on making contact in the center of the drums. Again, this is a basic foundational cornerstone to make your drumming life better along the way. Otherwise, you'll be frustrated by missed beats and unintentional rim strikes. Again, don't be this guy. So what have we covered so far? Assuming you have correctly positioned your drums, we have body posture, back straight, pick up your sticks. How? With your thumb and index finger. We've covered the stick position and balance and wrist movement and where to strike the drums. So we're ready to begin striking the drums. Relax everything, your body, your hands, arms, and pivot your wrist in the up position for your first strike. Rather than thinking about hitting the drum, think about rebounding off the drum. And that is your intro lesson for the week, incorporating all the elements we discussed. Do that repeatedly as long as sanity will allow. Ideally, get a practice drum pad. Again, you could be doing this while watching a movie. Keep doing this until it becomes a smooth, fluid, and automatic motion. Feel free to work in the toms if you like, while you focus on not hitting, rather rebounding off the center of the drum. Master these critical drumming elements, and next, go to Lust for Drums, Beginner Lesson 1. Wait, did I say lust? Yes, I did. And this is going to be my proprietary acronym to develop and sustain successful drumming at every step of your development. L for loose, staying loose with your balanced pivot, thumb, index finger, and wrist movement. U for upstroke, and this is basically rebounding off the drum as opposed to hitting, which is really one of the key elements to go from getting around the drums to performing fun, complicated drum fills. S for speed. I'm not referring to speed as in fast, rather speed as in consistent tempo. And timing. Again, no matter the speed, combining all of the rudiments and elements into a clock. Do you have drum lust? Well, get it, because you want to come back to it every step of the way. Loose, upstroke, speed, and timing.